Yes, they have to do that. Our people don't.
Political activist and the stepfather to the late 2Pac Shakur, Mutulu Shakur, has been given less than 6 months to live. Now, let's get into some of the details because this is definitely disturbing to say the least. Now, again, Mutulu is now 71 years old. He was a member of the Black Liberation Army. I'll get into that in the back end, but let's get into what's going on with Mutulu, right? He suffers right now from a terminal, incurable case of melanoma as well as bone marrow cancer, right? Now, his attorneys asked in court papers, they asked for a federal judge to release him to his son, Mopreme Shakur, and that move so far has been opposed by the Department of Justice. And shout out to Mopreme, he had him on. Check out the archives for the Mopreme Shakur interviews, definitely dope. Now, Mutulu's freedom once again is in the hands of U.S. District Judge Mr. Charles Haight, who denied, if you guys can remember, I think I talked about it here on Hip Hop News Uncensored, but he denied his petition for compassionate release back in 2020. Now, Mutulu's family members say, in addition to his declining physical health, he has shown signs of confusion. Mopreme wrote in a statement stating that his father failed to tell him and his brother Tyrone apart, even though Tyrone is taller than me and has long dreadlocks. And we know that Mopreme is bald. He writes, I am pleading with you, Your Honor. Please let me bring him home so my wife and I could take care of him through his final days. Now, let's get into a little bit of the history. Now, Mopreme was convicted of an involvement in plots, right, to commit robberies totaling about $2.5 million. Now, the incident went down where, an armored security guard and two policemen, right, were murdered. Now, he spent 36 years in prison so far. I think he was sentenced to about 60 some odd years at that point in time. The final arguments on the case are going down July the 29th, which is right around the corner. In a few days, we're definitely going to know. And my thing is, I get it. You got them for these bodies. You're trying to make a statement, because you guys, the federal government was opposed to these type of liberation movements, 67, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Sada Shakur, she got away. She's in Cuba right now. They granted her political asylum. The FBI has been notoriously on record of surveilling and watching the Shakur family for years, probably a decade or so now. So they want this man to die in prison, for lack of a better words. They don't want him to see the light of day, even if his light of day means that, he'll be free with his family, right? And I disagree with this. I feel like, I'm not anyone to say that he paid his debt to society or anything like that. But look, I understand 3 people were killed, but you got to understand the times that were going on back then. Even look at Sada Shakur. She probably had about 3 to 4 cases that she beat before she was actually convicted, and they bust her out of jail. I think it was Clinton Correctional Facility in New York. So what I'm saying is, if you guys watch the old movies, there was a lot of corruption back then with the police officers and, the feds and things like that. A lot of corruption and a lot of, horrible tactics to take out these different groups that they targeted. A lot of things unethical, a lot of things that were illegal. You know what I mean? A lot of things that were done. So, you just never know the circumstance that they were in at the time. Now, I get it. They saying he robbed an armored truck, whatever. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? But he been in there almost 40 years. 40 years. I think it's about time to let the man go. He's about to die. He's not going to live. I wish he would continue to live, but bone marrow cancer, an incurable form of melanoma, the doctors already said that, he's passing away. His family has come to grips with the fact that he's probably going to pass very, very, very soon, but they want him to pass away in prison because this is about sending a message to anyone who dare oppose us. You will sit either die or rot in prison for the rest of your life. So you got my vote. And it's not a lot of people that I will say. I mean, obviously, people do crimes. You got to do the time. But I just know the situations back then from studying history and reading things and looking at documentaries or whatever, that it was a lot of funny stuff going. A lot of people getting set up, a lot of things going down. And a situation like this, not saying that it was, but it could have been a situation where he was fighting for his life. It could have been. That's the type of stuff that was going on back then, right? Where, even look at the side of Shakur's story. You don't believe me? Read her story. Read what happened to her. Read that whole situation, how she got shot, and the whole, dynamics of that case. That's all I'm saying, man. So, yeah, I agree. Do I think they're going to do it? I don't. I don't think that they're going to have any compassion. I think that the word has came down from the government to let him die in prison. Let him die for what he stood for. I don't think it's even about the bodies at this point. I think it's just about what he stood for. And then, again, they call Asada Shakur the mother hen. This is the one that got away. They wanted her in prison more than a lot of these people. But remember, she was in prison. The BLA, they broke her out. She ran to Cuba. Cuba refused to turn her over to the United States government. Refused. And even recent, about maybe 5 years ago, the United States government said, look, I think she might have been the first woman to be on the most wanted list. Don't quote me on that. They said she's the mother hen. We want her. Cuba turned her over. Cuba gave the United States a big F you. They didn't do it. As a matter of fact, they granted her, I'm tongue-tied today, political asylum, meaning that you're a political prisoner or whatever, prisoner of war, POW, whatever you want to call it. You safe here. You safe. As long as you follow the rules, you're safe here. Another reason why the United States have a lot of beef with Cuba. But, hey, just like if somebody will go to Russia, they can keep you. It's their country. And in a way, I respect that. In a way, I kind of respect that. Okay, this is my country. This is the way we do things. F you. We're going to do it the way we want to do it. Because best believe that these other countries are doing things the way they want to do it, unless there's another country with a bigger military, industrial complex. But that's a whole nother story, a whole nother day. You guys leave a comment. Let me know what you think about, Mutulu Shakur. Them saying he's going to pass away very, very soon. This was back in May, they said this. So he could be, literally living his last days. And they're still refusing to let him out. He has one more chance. He's going back before the same judge that denied him back in 2020. So he has one more chance at freedom. Let's hope and that he gets that freedom. It's your brother, Old God Man Hip Hop News, Uncensored. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys share the video. Really, share the video, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. Hit the like button. It makes you guys subscribe to Hip Hop News Uncensored. Hit that red button, hit that subscribe button. It makes sure you guys are locked in for all the latest news, all the uncensored breakdowns. You ain't getting it like this nowhere else. I promise you. It's your boy, Old God Man. Over and out. Peace.